girls mat 3. And up next on that mat, Auburn, Riverside, Jessica Tucker, and Oregon Navy. You're up next on mat 3 in the girls tournament. Girls mat 1, Lucia Sparkling from Decatur, and Frances Zemons from O'Connor. They're wrestling now on mat 1. Jolly and Lewandowski, you're up next. Jolly and Lewandowski up next on mat 1 girls tournament. At 195 pounds in our 3-8 tournament, we have Junior Valero from North Central wrestling Spencer Schultz of Edmond Woodway. And up next on that mat, Scott Mallard and Boyd Mount Spokane. Boyd and Scott next on mat 5. This special announcement for our 4-8 tournament. Dallas, Good Pasture, and Calvin Helmerberg. Bout number 101 has been changed from mat 1 to mat 5. Wrestler, Good Pasture, and Helmberger, your match has been moved to mat number 5 in our 4-8 tournament. B tournament action, we have Chris Morellis of Brewster and Cody Hoffman of Selkirk. They're on mat 1. Up next is Stuart Reyes on Herberger and Newell. You're up next on mat 4. From Toppenish, Louis Royas and Austin Swingley of Franklin Pierce are wrestling currently on 2A mat 3. And up next on 3. Greenwell and Gilbertson. Greenwell and Gilbertson, you're up next on mat 3. McLean and Taylor 2, you're up now on mat number 1. Mat number 2, Hernandez of Moses Lake and Valaschenko on Rainier. They're wrestling now on mat number 2. And on deck, Burfinger and Loesch. Burfinger and Loesch are up next on mat 2.
Central Valley, Garrigan and Mitchell, you're on deck for a mat number 3. Changeover on B number 1, Jerry Reyes of Warden and Jesse Stewart of Concrete. Happening now on deck, Joseph Bruneta of Warden and Isaac Velasquez of Mapton. You're on deck, B mat number 1. Fans, remember to pick up your official state championship programs and gear at today's Mat Classic 27. Hats, sweatshirts, and t-shirts are on sale now on the upper concourse and can be customized while you wait. Plus, don't forget to commemorate today's event and pick up a souvenir program. Programs are on sale now on the upper concourse. Changes over on the girls' mat number 2, Haley Horrocks of Skyview. She's wrestling Kendra Maxfield of Emerald Ridge. On deck, girls' mat number 2, Latina Thais of Stadium and Victoria Gayton of Walouk. That's on deck, girls' mat number 2. Girls' mat number 3, Anicia Camacho of Mount Baker and Alexa Castellanos of Pasco. You're on deck, girls' mat number 3. And on girls' mat number 4, Rowan Takumi of Clover Park and Akimi Schwinden of Mount Baker. That's happening now, girls' mat number 4. And coming up on girls' mat number 4, Margaret Wrestling now on 3A mat number 1, Shalon McLennan of O'Day and Erica Burdenmayer of Shorewood. 3A mat number 2, Jackson Potts of Voss and Nick Little of Kamayakin. You're on deck. 3A mat number 2. 3A mat number 4, Jacob Coaxer of North Central and Connor Heger of Eastside Catholic. You're on deck. 3A mat number 3. And on 3A mat number 4, Jacob Opadako of Auburn and Holt Douglas of Columbia River. You're on deck. 3A 4. Girls mat number 1, we got another change. Wrestling now, Hannah Lewandowski of White River and Daniel Jolly of Warden. On deck, girls mat number 1, Casey Holden, 2-time champion, and Amber Cramsey Benke of Oak Harbor. You're on deck, girls 1. Wrestling now on girls 4, Margarita Torres of Sunnyside and Ryan Gibbons, a 3-time state champion from Centralia. Girls mat number 3, Charlene McCall of Centralia and Raven Stetson of Hazen. You're on deck, girls mat number 3. Over on the B mats, Cameron Danforth of Davenport and Braden Drew of Concrete. You're on deck, B1. Haven Hatevelt of Pomeroy and Anthony Fisher of Adna. You're on deck, B mat number 2. 3A mat number 5, Adam Deering of Ballard and Jackson Constant of Oak Harbor. You're on deck, 3A mat number 5. 4A mat number 5, Andrews Hughes Murray of Federal Way and Alex Farmers of Snohomish. That's happening now on 4A5. On deck, 4A5, Austin Wright of Evergreen and Donovan Foster of Timberline. The heavyweights on deck, 4A mat number 5. All changes over here in the 2A division. Kerrigan Simpson of Ellensburg and Jeff Jackson of Woodland, 182-pounders. You're on deck, 2A1. 2A mat number 2 at 160 pounds, Jacob Bates of Granite Falls and Cole Reinhardt of North Mason. You're on deck, 2A2. 2A mat number 3, Tyler Ruel of North Mason, Gage Gilbertson of Lakewood. That's happening now, 2A3. And Cade Wallace of Quincy and Michael Kramer of Black Hills. You're on deck, 2A3. 2A mat number 4, 170-pounders, Joe Davis of Hawkinson and Jacob Farrell of Cedar Woolley. You're on deck, 2A mat number 4. We've got a returning champion, Alex Burbanger of Union. Wrestling now, Tyler Loesch of Yelm down on 4A mat number 2. Zach Harris of Kent Lake and Aaron Ibanez of Bothell. You're on deck, 4A2. 4A mat number 1, Eli Tautau of Bethel and Kevin McLean of Meade. That's happening now on 4A1. On deck there, Danny Lorenz of Graham Compowson and Levi McBride of Chiawana. You're on deck, 4A mat number 1. On 4A mat number 4, Zach Burbanger of Union. He's wrestling Brennan Moore of Bellarmine. On deck, 4A mat 4, Joe Johnson of Decatur and Draven Hotchins of Mount Vernon. That's on deck, 4A mat number 4. Cameron Danforth of Davenport and Braden Drew of Concrete now on B mat number 1. Octavio Alejandre of Lake Roosevelt and Mark DeTuri of Mary Walker. You're on deck, B mat number 1. Casey Bolden, a 2-time